with no respect whatsoever given to the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, whose biggest achievement in life, by the way, was being Mario Cuomo's son. Talk about privilege. America has been great since our inception. In fact, in forming America, America has been great from day one. The first time in the history of planet Earth, a country was formed by the people and for the people, where basic rights were guaranteed to all. The actual citizens of a landmass gave all of the power to a limited government, with the explicit control of this power remaining with the actual citizenry. This was one of the greatest inventions the world and mankind has ever seen. What made and makes America great is allowing all people, for the first time in the history of mankind, to make their own choices, to actually control their own destinies. And it is the result of this freedom is what makes America great. From the fall of the Roman Empire until the founding of America, there was virtually zero technological innovations brought forth from all of mankind. Think about it. From 300 AD, when the Roman Empire started to weaken, humans were riding horses for transportation. Humans were using oxen and horses to power, to till the fields, and to farm. Even the fastest communications at the time was all done using horses and animal power. Fast forward to 1776. Same animal power was being used by humans for transportation, communications, and farming. That was our power. Now that is 1,500 years. Literally over 5 times the amount of time that America itself has even existed. And nothing major happened technologically throughout all of humankind. It is when America was formed and gave humans, for the first time in history, not only the opportunity to choose their future, but the free markets and capitalism, which brought together innovators and investors. Mankind has vaulted forward technologically by leaps and bounds. It is America, which has had less than 1% of the world's population, by the way. In fact, even today, we're still less than 5% of the world's population. Yet us Americans have invented everything of importance mankind has seen over the last 1,800 years. And yes, we've only existed 250 of those. These freedoms granted by America has catapulted humankind forward and has made life better for all of mankind worldwide. It has in turn also made America the richest, the freest, and the most powerful country on the planet. America was great when Ben Franklin harnessed electricity and made controlling power possible for motors and engines that could work at much higher rates of strength than animals. That made America great. Cornelius Vanderbilt and other railroad tycoons put out the capital to link America together by rail, lifting humankind from the limits of animal-powered transportation. That made America great. John Rockefeller created Standard Oil and opened up the night to mankind to socialize and work. It was reliable and available oil that Rockefeller made available to all Americans and eventually the world that made America great. When Thomas Edison out of Menlo Park, New Jersey, working with his staff of inventors, created the first reliable working light bulb, that made America great. When Andrew Carnegie took steel, which up until then was only used for forks and knives, as well as other very small items, and he created huge foundries where steel beams could be created. This allowed not only bridges and railways possible for transportation, but it allowed mankind to build upwards to create cities. It actually multiplied the living space of humankind all over the world. Not only in America, but all over the world. That made America great. When Henry Ford created the assembly line and fought the car cartels in court to make it possible for automobiles to become available for mankind, that made America great. When the Wright brothers took their ingenuity and their nerve and jumped on that first airplane, that made America great. When Boeing took this idea and this concept and expanded the airplane travel to the masses, that made America great. Let's even fast forward to more present times. When the American Defense Department, working with professors, invented the computer and the internet, allowing for the free flow of information to be shared by all, that made America great. When Bill Gates made it possible for humans to actually own and use a computer for their own personal use, that made America great. When Steve Jobs pushed his inventors to their breaking point and invented the smartphone, allowing all people from all over the world to have information at their fingertips, that made America great. And American greatness is not limited to innovations. Let's look at world politics. Besides the aforementioned creation of America and its freedoms, America and Americans fought a war and freed the slaves. That made America great because it was America that was the first major country to free their slaves. While European countries stated that they freed their slaves, that was only limited to their homelands, not their colonies, which made up, in the case of England, 80% of their land. Slavery lasted for many, many more decades. It was the American Civil War which started the end of worldwide major slave trades. That made America great. How about in 1918, when America saved Europe and the world from total destruction in World War I? That made America great. And again in 1945, when America once again saved the European, the Africans, and the Asians from total destruction from fascists. That made America great. And ever since the end of World War II, it has been American military power and political might that has held off World War III. We limited the communist advance all over the world and literally saved millions of lives, tens of millions. That made America great. It is the civil rights movement, the feminist movement, the equality for all that makes America great. And if you, Andrew Cuomo, do not see this basic fundamental truth, then you are either ignorant of history, confused, or outright lying. And as someone from New York City who has followed your career, I believe you're outright lying to push an agenda. America has been great since our inception and will continue to be great as long as Andrew Cuomo and the socialist left does not get their way and destroy the freedoms and the opportunities that have made America the greatest country the world has ever seen.